I know. It's hard to understand. But at least now it can't get much worse.
But it did get worse.
Welcome. In today's episode, we'll be picking apart two infamous fandoms, namely the Sonic fandom and the My Little Pony fandom, with more of a focus on the Brony set.
We're going to be pitting them against each other, comparing crucial fandom stories and events under similar themes, and finally, providing the answer to the long-sought question, which fandom is truly the most disturbed of all time?
He could only have gotten that idea from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, like I haven't taken a deep enough sip from my proverbial cup of horrors created by you humans on the internet.
You're too slow!
It's the 80s. Sega has to come up with an answer to Nintendo's dominance over the gaming market with their Italian plumber mascot, or be forever left in the dust.
おい、俺の必要なもの持ってるか、このバカ。
Okay, so Nintendo's got Mario, right? And he's quite short.
Let's go!
So what if our mascot was a hedgehog?
A hedgehog.
Yes, a hedgehog. Hedgehogs are usually between 4 inches tall
直ちに産翼の準備をしてください。
You're correct.
カレーを青くてとても早く、場合によってハメタンフェタミンの影響下にさせる。
Right on it.
And you're now without job.
Understood.
And that's exactly how the legendary Sonic the Hedgehog was born. Probably.
Then began the global ad campaigns to introduce this brand new mascot to the world, all over in many different countries and in multiple languages. Some of these were relentless in showing exactly why Sega and Sonic are the better option over Nintendo, and their tame, vanilla and nice Mario. And they weren't exactly subtle about it either.
16-bit arcade graphics. What Nintendo?
I actually came up with that ad myself. A bit clever, wasn't
君の
it?
鼻毛を抜いてやる。
My fault. Oh gee.
Everyone knows how wild and totally unhinged ads in general used to be in the 80s and 90s. And Sonic's introduction to the gaming market aimed at that stereotype. Sonic was cool, hip, super fast, and the 90s personified. He had something to prove, and was going to do so with all the aura that era could provide. In whatever media form and representation, this trait was sure to be made front and center, even as early as an old comic book portrayal of his brown-colored origins. Sega has done remarkably well for itself, considering Sonic's evolution spans over 30-plus years, expanding far beyond gaming and into multiple distinct anime series, long-running comic books, all kinds of merch, and, more recently, even actual blockbuster Hollywood live-action films. We don't talk about the first trailer for Sonic's Hollywood debut, though.
Meow?
But as anyone familiar with the franchise during these active years knows, there have been some decent highs and some not-so-pretty lows.
I think most Sonic fans can call it one of the best ever.
This is the worst game I have ever played. And the menu! The f***ing menu! It's like the developers of Sonic Freeriders didn't get the f***ing memo on how to create a menu with Connect! That, or they did get the memo and they just took it and wiped their
This roller coaster is the exact basis for why the Sonic fanbase is completely fragmented into different generations. Spanning 30 years of franchising, hits and misses, the fanbase is a whole mess, stretching from 40-year-old retro gamers to 10-year-olds who just walked out of a movie theatre. They are united only in their shared love of a blue anthropomorphic blur of a hedgehog who fights the mad scientist Dr. Eggman to protect his friends and save the environment. The saying goes that nobody hates Sonic fans more than Sonic fans themselves, yet rivaling this would be the hate for Sonic himself from his own fans. There are warring tribal factions, for instance, split on which era of games is better. Whether it's the classic 2D era that purists swear is superior, or the modern 3D era with boost mechanics that lowered the skill level and the barrier of entry for some high-speed, reactionary gameplay. And these aren't just splits on game mechanics and dimensions. Some fractures go as far as lore, backstory, character designs, and even something as seemingly trivial as Sonic's eye color. Because the fandom is so fragmented and divisive, it lacks a single, easily recognizable fan name. Yet, they are widely considered the founding fathers of modern internet fandom culture. Sonic fans are world-renowned for their unmatched creative output, responsible for inventing millions of OCs, complex fan games, and endless fan fiction. Still, they remain simply referred to as Sonic fans. Nothing more intimate or exclusive, as is the case with smaller fandoms out there, despite their massive global size.
Good afternoon. My name is Twilight Sparkle.
My Little Pony is a multi-generational franchise launched in 1982.
Huh, look at that. It's the 80s again. While you were probably busy not being born, MFs were out here chasing the bag on feet.
On feet by himself.
What's your excuse, huh?
Much like Sonic's humble beginnings as a video game character, before blasting into multimedia, MLP's origins were strictly in toy lines. The target demographic was specifically young girls, and Hasbro found solid success in that market. They tried a few animated shows over the years to push toy sales, but the franchise remained relatively niche. Slowly, however, building their way into the mainstream with more and more stabs at expansion.
Enter My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Launched in 2010, the series follows Twilight Sparkle, a studious unicorn pony, as she learns about the magical power of friendship in the colorful land of Equestria.
It is this specific iteration that caught on with teenage and fully grown adult males.
My little pony, my little pony. My little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be.
These dedicated fans could even go all the way up into their 40s.
Damn! I'm sorry. Because it was a...
Collectively, the fandom called itself Bronies, being a combo of the words brother and ponies, establishing massive global conventions like BronyCon, building an entire music industry of fan-made rock and electronic tracks, and producing a staggering volume of digital art.
I believe that guy may have fallen to his death.
The early 2000s saw the biggest rise of MLP yet, with a huge part of its cultural footprint owed to the patronage of these adoring, passionate, and at times, highly controversial male fans. They were controversial mostly for the small subsects within this fandom who chose to be inappropriate with an IP meant for children.
If maybe you'd like to have sex with me later. What? You know, Oh, I see.
But it is important to note that the general brony pony fascination, not referring to the weird stuff, started off as a joke. It was just guys being silly, pretending to be overly enthusiastic over something not meant for them. Funnily enough, it didn't take long for them to realize their interest was no longer ironic and very, very real. No judging here, though. You're totally free to like whatever you like.
I'm judging.
This video has a message that is really important, so please keep watching. There is an entire community of people who are being bullied, harassed, attacked, and judged based off of their sexual orientation. Yes, I'm referring to clopsexuals, better known as cloppers.
What the hell is even that?
As part of this community, I am sick and tired of feeling like less of a person for who I am. Being in the cartoon ponies isn't a fetish for everyone. To some of us, it's their sexual orientation.
Alrighty. So, we've got 3 levels in this iceberg. The higher the level, the more grim its entries are. At the end of each level, we'll provide a verdict on which of the 2 fandoms had it worse, so to speak.
If all is understood, let us proceed to the first case topic. Here's the part where I introduce you to Sonic's copyright connoisseur, Ken Penders. Ken Penders, or Kenneth W. Penders II, is often cited as one of the most polarizing figures in the history of Sonic the Hedgehog media. As a long-term writer and artist for Archie Comics, he was instrumental in building the Knuckles lore and expanding the cast with hundreds of original characters, most notably the Echidna clans and Knuckles' extended family. While his creative influence was substantial, his legal departure from the publisher remains a point of intense discussion within the community. And despite that legacy...
In summary, Ken Penders, through a loophole, was able to claim the copyrights of his characters, forcing a massive in-universe reboot to the Sonic series. This should have been seen as a big win for all small creatives against big corporations. But Ken is widely criticized as unpleasant and outright narcissistic. So it cancels out or something.
His artwork is also a frequent target of ridicule, especially now that he is trying to publish his independent graphic novel series, The Lara Sue Chronicles, using his reclaimed characters. Because the legal agreement dictates that his character designs cannot overlap with those owned by Sega, his creative workarounds have produced some truly bizarre, nightmare-inducing specimens. Legally distinct, but unbelievably chopped.
Now, full disclosure, I'm pretty sure I was drinking when I was first reading through this comic. So I was having a little bit of a hard time following this story, and I thought maybe the booze was talking when I was looking at this page, and I thought, hey Ken, did you forget how to draw your own character?
Okay, so let me get this straight. An artist is successfully able to claim their own creations for themselves, for a change, and they get titled as the most hated man within the fandom, right? For one time, in an industry where the norm is having yourself, a soulless, profit-driven corporation, sign away all rights to your very own product, your art, so they can make way more money your pitiful self could ever even dream of making on your behalf. I'm sorry, but if I was Ken Penders, I too would be asking the fans to kiss my sorry.
But Ken Penders is really, really insufferable. It seems like he really sucks as a human, you know?
Do I look like I give two watery shits?
My little pony, I'm ready to show how much I care.
A background character in a single episode of MLP garnered massive attention, owing to a highly peculiar cross-eyed look. In hindsight, it was an accidental animation error, but her look stood out all the same. A dedicated following quickly spawned, demanding to see more of this silent background pony, whom they affectionately named Derpy Hooves. She began popping up as a hidden Easter egg in subsequent episodes. The term derp actually originated from the creators of South Park in their 1998 film Basketball, used to mock...
In summary, Derpy begun to have an unfavorable connotation and became a headache for the PR team over at Hasbro's. The slang derp went triple platinum on 4chan boards, then followed backlash, claiming the term was an insensitive mockery to the mentally challenged, once the pony had an official speaking role.
Succumbing to corporate panic, they covertly went back into the master files and completely re-edited the episode. They erased her spoken name, straightened her eyes, and altered her bumbling voice to sound noticeably more normal. Fans immediately blasted the producers, accusing them of sanitizing a beloved character just to appease mainstream consumer optics. They insisted there was never an ounce of ill intent, arguing the term simply meant making a silly mistake. This ultimately left the character permanently altered to be more digestible for the general public, despite genuine fan acceptance and some overwhelmingly strong vocal support for Derpy Hooves as is.
You are my special.
Sonic the Hedgehog. More action, more speed. Sega Genesis, it's a whole lot more for less.
The Sonic fandom was ground zero for a massive Recolor epidemic on early web forums and DeviantArt, where kids would take official images of Sonic, basically give them a crude MS Paint color swap, and unironically present them as serious original characters.
This sparked an obnoxious era of online cringe culture. Typically, older internet elitists viewed these low-effort designs as blatant art theft, leading to the ugly reality of what seemed like grown adults essentially ganging up on children to...
Credit where it's due, these parody Recolours are taking the piss, and it's bloody glorious.
This intense hyperfixation was aggressively turned against Sega itself in the infamous Green Eyes controversy. When Sonic was given vibrant green irises for his 3D debut in Sonic Adventure 1998, it was said that classic purists completely melted down, claiming a handful of green pixels ruined his foundational 90s aesthetic.
So Soft My Little Pony. Shady and other So Soft ponies sold separately from Hasbro.
The Brony fandom established a strict, unwritten taboo, banning any fan-made character from being an Alicorn, which is a pony possessing both a unicorn horn and Pegasus wings, traditionally representing godlike equestrian royalty. They were exceptionally rare on the show and immensely powerful in lore. Many casual creators, especially kids, opted for Alicorn OCs, completely saturating the creative space. Seeing an unpolished character design assume the mantle of royalty came across as entirely unjustified to a lore-conscious, passionate older fan base. To the community, an Alicorn symbolized a Mary Sue, an overpowered self-insert character that broke the universe's natural hierarchy.
You really catch the irony when you realise these mainly consisted of a good chunk of grown men gatekeeping a fictional universe's lore balance by bullying the actual target demographic of young girls out of their own creative spaces. I'm in genuine tears, mate.
This exact brand of pedantic intellectual policing also ends up targeting the actual source material in a Twilicorn fan meltdown, when the main character, Twilight Sparkle, officially ascended into an Alicorn princess during the 2013 Season 3 finale. A hyper-vocal anti-Twilicorn faction completely lost its collective mind. They claimed the character had lost their identity, that this came from nowhere and seemed forced for reasons, or that the move was to sell some more toys and merch with a fresh and more interesting design update. Purists at the time insisted that changing Twilight's core design stripped away her relatable scholar identity, turning an iconic protagonist into an over-designed corporate trope.
Again, a good chunk of adult men, essentially backseat driving the show's direction.
Hello again. I, the Godmother, shall now deliver the official verdict on the first level of the iceberg impartially, thoroughly, and without bias. In the corporate shenanigans case topic, Sonic's Ken Penders had directly affected the direction of the Sonic series as a whole, whereas the Derpygate fiasco only saw a rewriting of a single character, and even so, only partially. Sonic quite clearly earns the point there. As for the gated community case topic, that one is a bit trickier. They both feature a wider majority of adults bullying a younger audience for fan creations. We would have to assess to what extent and how prevalent these harassment campaigns went in order to pick between.
Yeah, but one specifically had an Uncle Billy coming home from work to boot up his computer and berate little Emily because her pony OC has wings. It had to have happened at least once. At least once.
Sure. Go ahead and give My Little Pony a point then.
Okay, now we're moving to the more concerning stuff. So do well to proceed with caution. Seriously, don't say I didn't warn you.
Mega Drive Supersonic Anthem, the mega deal of the century from Sega.
In 2013, a comic was published on an adult furry platform.
The plot features Sonic's innocent sidekick, Tails, sitting on a park bench and engaging in highly taboo, graphic acts with two premature bunny characters. Very unlike the official character, to say the least.
Of course, this travesty became a meme. Those who knew would revere the image, and those who didn't would make the mistake of asking one too many questions.
Something's wrong with him. That's not human, man. You're not regular, man. It was the devil, man. It was the devil, man.
One of Satan's greatest soldiers was king.
Others would be busy getting permabanned in certain forums dedicated to Tails when referencing the meme, genuinely just asking about it, or at that point even thinking about it. Its legendary status as a weaponized shock meme, much like the infamous 2 Girls 1 Cup video that inspired its original name.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Nick?
Apparently, the absolute peak of algorithmic absurdity occurred years later when it appeared YouTube's automated, family-friendly bots accidentally flagged, re-uploaded, heavily censored clips of the comic as content made for kids, seemingly because it featured bright cartoon animals. I swear to you, YouTube would rather choose the option where all of humanity is cursed with eternal diarrhea than the one that fixes its dogshit moderation.
Another poop joke? Didn't you learn your lesson?
At all? Baby pony. My Little Pony Baby Buggy now comes with baby cuddles with Betty by Eyes from Hasbro.
Stellar Eclipse was a minor background character who rolled by in a single episode of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. A wheelchair-bound creation Hearsay claimed was designed by a dying young boy whose Make-A-Wish request was to be immortalized on the show.
Things took a dark turn when critics insisted the Brony community took this character and immediately dragged him into volumes of explicit adult content, completely ignoring his tragic origins and actively defying the demands of the show's executives themselves not to.
However, digging beneath the surface reveals a massive game of internet telephone. For one, the creator wasn't a Make-A-Wish dying child, but rather with a different charity organization, which was similar but not the same, though it eventually did merge with Make-A-Wish. He was also nowhere near terminal, and wasn't exactly a child either, but an older teenager right at the doorstep of adulthood.
Secondly, there were no executives documented making any demands to stop producing explicit material of the character.
It becomes more apparent that it all stemmed from a single post on an image board, which was to be taken for the vocal pleas of a grieving mother.
Lastly, the alleged mountain of explicit art didn't actually exist. It was just a relative handful of isolated images amplified by bad actors.
The real plot twist was the fact that the actual creator of Stellar Eclipse publicly came out, time and time again, and expressed genuine approval and appreciation toward the fan art, re-emphasized by his own mother, who now apologizes for having thought otherwise.
It even goes as far as him having commissioned about half of these explicit artworks himself. A textbook pro-shipper, if you will. Holy plot twist.
Will you take the trash out? I can't. My leg is broken.
Now, when you buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1, you'll get Sonic 2 absolutely free. Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains, embarrassing bald spots, no problem. It even slices and dices, makes thousands of julienne fries. But wait, you can play it too.
A self-diagnosed plushophile, Jason Crevier is known in the darker parts of the Sonic fandom as a bright red sore spot best kept in shadow. He took his love of Sonic too far, going beyond the typical unconventional best mates to straight-up non-consensual mating at Sonic's expense.
Help!
Jasonic, as he's better known online, kept plushies of the character under these conditions for decades of his life, but he made sure to make it a point to have it all be public knowledge and bring to light other concerning things unsolicited and unprovoked. The world could have gone by just fine without these random lore dumps and little nuggets of exposition from this graduate of neurodiversity.
Well, that's very interesting. We're going to have to come over to your house and kill you. No two ways about it.
It seems the more recent years have made him a little more reserved and unforthcoming with his exploits.
Sonic the Hedgehog might one day get to meet a rehabilitated Jasonic the Human. If there is any hope of redemption still left, or at all, still available for him.
Till then, Jasonic is what happens when unbridled self-expression is aggressively honed.
Oh, you nasty ass bastard! You fucking nasty ass motherfucker! That's nasty, man!
I love you, Sunshower. New Baby Sea Pony Sunshower comes with what you see here. Other ponies sold separately from Hasbro.
A small Rainbow Dash figurine would find itself locked in a transparent jar for a long, long time.
Ended there, the story would have been relatively unmemorable, but for the contributions of yet another Brony devotee, one who readily answered the call of an imaginary audience to overshare on the internet. Thank you for your services.
Another player tip. You gotta kill yourself.
Rainbow Dash, a close friend of Twilight Sparkle and a beloved member of the main six in that close-knit friend group, can only stare off into the distance, bearing all that weight of the repeated abuse.
abuse of both her dignity and the sanctity of every lost soul damned to come across the pictures shared around.
Unrequested updates and several unnecessary patch notes were given out for the current status of their jar experiment that nobody appreciated or wanted.
It's a great story. Bullshit. But great. You should seriously consider becoming a screenwriter. What in the actual
Holy shit, I'm fucking traumatized. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me fucking go. Hello? I'll be handling the verdict for the second level of this absolutely horrifying iceberg. For the Passions Fruit case group, we had the infamous 2 babies, 1 fox event, and the... Actually, it doesn't even fucking matter what else we had. Diapers and poo should be winning every time.
You lot barely missed an extinction of your entire race in 2012, only for you to immediately bring this into the universe with the time you had been gifted. Bravo, honestly. Just be prepared for the second attempt.
Now, for the non-platonic playthings case group, we had the self-bragging Jason Crevier, who chooses to have intimate relations with 100% polyester and plastic safety parts. Then there's another guy who submerges figurines in male reproductive broth. Wow.
Some people just need to be thrown into a fiery pit and we just use their bones for tools or something.
2 beautiful stories from 2 outstanding gentlemen who most certainly deserve their freedom uncontested. Which do I pick? So tough. Queen, could you maybe give me a helping hand?
Seaman boy.
This is going to be a rapid-fire segment of entries that definitely need to be mentioned. Ariane is a fan-made white pony whose name and swastika cutie mark serve as an unmistakable play on the word Aryan. It started off as an edgy joke until, out of nowhere, actual far-right extremists began patronizing the character. You know, out of like literally nowhere, because of course they would see themselves equal to a small horse before another human. Good for them, I guess. The aisle-walking anomaly that is Jin 1515 goes on to live out a true fanfic, where he actually gets to marry Twilight Sparkle. Not the real thing, since she never existed, but a plushie doll version, affectionately nicknamed Twilers, or Twy.
I'm positive that is not what they meant when they said get therapy.
Bearing a wedding ring on her horn as proof of the union.
Hey, Twitter folks. I'm gonna take the day off from Twitter because it's Mrs. Skippy's birthday today, and we're gonna do fun birthday party stuff and have cake and ice cream and all that, but I'll be back tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day.
I also hope I'm lucky and get some birthday spicy time, although I am not the birthday boy, but one is allowed to dream. Also, I hope nothing weird happens, like, for instance,
me coming across NSFW art of my wife by a stranger. That will feel very insulting, and I would not like that at all.
I would really appreciate it if the next time your birthday comes around, you would request that your Clop artist friends draw some pony other than Twilight Sparkle for you, one grown man typed to the other, using the system developed through decades of work by British scientists and military contractors. The full message he sent is genuinely insane. Feel free to read it in its entirety if you can.
But to me, she is more than a cartoon character who is sexually attractive. She is my fiancé who I love with all my heart and is soon to be my wife.
My brother in Christ.
What the hell are you talking about?
They've supposedly declared their undying love for each other. A mostly silent, motionless Twilight Sparkle at the center of everything. Good for you, man.
Jin would go on to be unfaithful to Twilight Sparkle, later conveniently explaining how the two are actually in an open relationship.
Good for you, man.
Besides being into Paw Patrol, he's now come out as a baby fur and outed himself as a severe diaper fetish enthusiast.
Now, I'm not saying I want to lick your tushy, but if perhaps your bottom was feeling a little needy and a warm, licky puppy tongue back there sounded nice, then, well, I've been told I'm pretty good at that sort of thing.
This is how you make dogs melt into the bed.
And pull down those puppy pants, because I'm gonna make you a melty mutt, hee hee.
Huff. Okay. Pulls then down and wiggles boot.
What the fuck are you doing?
That ain't me, gang. That's shit AI.
正気なの?
Trust me, sir. I don't move like that for
お
real.
前のフェチには興味ないよバカ。なんで MLP の空間にいるんだ。今はハズブロで働いてるのか。この裏切り者。
Confused expression.
今すぐ切腹しろよ。
But you already fired me, remember?
あなたは再雇用された。
Nice.
3翼を準備してね。
Holy shit.
Posts of Sally, a character in Sonic, circulated in art community spaces and chat forums as a humanoid, lifelike creation, widely speculated to be made from a real human skeleton.
People were so convinced it was made with the remains of real humans that the creator had to explain on several occasions how the doll's frame is actually made of wood, yet kept having to deal with the accusations all the same.
Of course, using what appears to be the skeletal remains of someone who was forcefully submerged in a vat of acid might strike most people as a little concerning. But then again, not everyone should be so eager to don the self-appointed mantle of arbiter of what's the norm and what is just. A quick look at Mr. Pyrocynical's profile will reveal a favourites tab that is filled to the brim with morbidly obese, balloon-sized female characters from every media imagined. Tifa, Princess Peach, Chica, it just keeps bloody going, mate.
Things are going to be really serious from this point on, as now we're in the deep water territories, delving into crimes and controversies that had tragic real-world effects, consequences, and victims.
How can you argue that this is a bad game? I know too much 2D platforming. Shut up! Shut up!
Sammy was a 14-year-old kid at the time, whose opinions on his beloved topics and deep love of Sonic were so expressive the internet couldn't help but to get drawn to his high-pitched displays of raw, yet hilariously censored explosions of passion. He was known by his username, SammyClassicSonicFan, alluding to his personality and interests. Many genuinely couldn't even tell if it was really just him or a persona he created for the intense role. The character was so exaggerated and unreal, going from 0 to 100 in mere milliseconds in his review-style videos and other similar presentations, along with clearly acted skits.
However, the virality his stunts and antics generated exposed him to an overwhelming amount of hate and negativity. From having to disable comments on his videos, to the escalation of receiving threats online and in real life, to eventually getting doxxed, SammyClassicSonicFan had his channel shut down, apparently by his parents, who were concerned for his and the family's safety.
One begins to wonder where the frick his parents were in all this before things got this extreme. It appears they were none the wiser of their son's online shenanigans, neither of his popularity nor infamy.
After taking a good squint at his neighbourhood in any of his videos, you could assume a pretty decent, maybe affluent enclosure of the tax bracket.
So how could there not be some more involved supervision of what the kid comes into contact with from such a presumably solid and stable background? It's always been funny how the average parent wouldn't even entertain the idea of leaving their kid in a room full of fully grown, tax-evading, and pension-withheld adults. Yet there seems to be this exception when it's leaving a kid to roam free in the wild, wild west that is the internet.
SammyClassicSonicFan ends up going through multiple instances of an identity crisis, changing his now recognizable handle multiple times to other usernames in an attempt to bury the past and start anew. There were also periods where he would go offline for months and even years at a time, only to come back again, citing chronic depression and a severe loss of passion for his interest as his reasons for ghosting.
Sammy, thankfully, did not crash and burn in his personal life and has become a highlight within the Sonic fandom and community. He's much older now, and though he amassed a relatively small following, they appreciate him for who he is, understanding his younger years were a persona blown up for the cameras, one that worked too well, even getting to have a whole dedicated video on PewDiePie's channel, one of, if not the biggest, YouTube channels at the time. A 9-year-old Grayson Bruce brought a My Little Pony backpack and lunchbox featuring Rainbow Dash to his elementary school.
He, however, ends up getting physically and verbally assaulted by classmates for liking a girls' show, prompting some intervention or disciplinary action of some kind.
That came about in the form of the school board spectacularly dropping the ball and banning Grayson from bringing the bag to school, labeling it a trigger for bullying and a classroom disruption instead. Nice one there, folks.
The corporate cowardice and victim blaming proved just too much to bear when word got around. It got the fandom riled up as they rallied behind Grayson in a massive show of support, looking out for his well-being, where the school had failed in that department, and to also send a message.
Following all the backlash, especially the news coverage on it, led the school to walk it all back. Of course, there was a public address, suddenly acknowledging the misstep, and ultimately coming to a resolution with the family, allowing the kid to keep carrying his backpack to school.
The case of Morones was one that was similar, but could not receive the second chance that Grayson Bruce was given. Just weeks prior to Grayson's incident, an 11-year-old Michael Morones, another hyper-passionate young brony who deeply related to Pinkie Pie, was relentlessly terrorized and physically beaten at school for his love of the show. Driven to absolute despair, Michael attempted to end it all by hanging himself off his bunk bed. He was rescued, but the severe lack of oxygen left him with permanent catastrophic brain damage and in a long-term vegetative state.
The Brony community launched a massive Michael Morones Recovery Fund, raising tens of thousands of dollars for his medical care and creating a widespread anti-bullying movement, among other showings for Michael and his situation over the years. Michael Morones went on to live a life of abundance, surrounded by the love of family and the support of the many who, in time, came to know his story.
He would unfortunately pass away at the age of 19 from complications of his condition.
These twin events serve as a heartbreaking reminder that while adult men were treating the show as an ironic internet subculture, actual children were suffering real-world violence just for enjoying its wholesome message of friendship.
Christine Weston Chandler, formerly Christian Weston Chandler, but most recognisably known as Chris Chan, is the undisputed monarch of internet infamy. Arguably the most documented individual in the history of the internet and the most famous of the lolcows, which is a person systematically milked for public laughter and continuous trolling. They remain the bane of the Sonic fandom and an Avengers-level threat to the fandom's reputation, seeing as they appear to seek out personal atrocities like Infinity Stones. The scale rating here seems about fair. The creator of the Sonic Pikachu hybrid original character, Sonichu, the cursed medallions that followed, and a hand-drawn comic collection featuring the character, Chris Chan, was born in 1982 to older parents, which many correlate to be the leading cause of their unique placement on the spectrum. Their very early childhood years were a bit shy and reserved, but they later outgrew these shortcomings when the full force of puberty hit, seemingly to make up for the relative calm and quiet. Chris's obsession with finding a love interest consumed so much of their thoughts and actions that they made it a literal side mission to find a girl to call their own, dubbing this exercise in futility the love quest. These noble pursuits for a suitable companion persisted at school, the mall, and wherever else they found themselves, drawing attention and piquing the interest of the internet in those early phases. This being one of the landmark events that slowly and unknowingly established their long and storied pain of becoming one of the biggest lolcows in history for how easily manipulated, gullible, and overly eager to share just about anything with a cruel, unforgiving online world that never forgets. Alongside their love quest, Christine Chandler also appeared to be on a life sentence quest. A notable attempt at this was that one time they vandalized a local game store and assaulted the owner as a sweet bonus.
Chris Chan's family goes into severe debt, finding themselves quickly drowning in a downpour of legal fees for the many stunts pulled.
Their financial situation worsens even further with a house fire down the line, and Chris, alone with just their aging mother now, turns to the general public for financial support, prompting another era of trolling and online discussions around Chris for this development.
A down-on-their-luck special needs individual at their wits' end, just trying to make it through the day, while also catering to an elderly dependent, would probably have been the sentiment for Chris as kind donations came trickling in. Only to come to find out Chris spends these generous handouts on toys, video games, merch, and other completely frivolous non-essentials to indulge their own wants and self-interests.
Suffice it to say, priorities were non-existent, and Chris Chan's life was an absolute mess. It's partly sympathetic knowing their chance at a normal life was halved the minute they were born due to the cards they were dealt at birth, alongside the ruthless exploitation of their captabilities by malicious trolls. However, a lot of the time, Chris should really have just known better. There's just no sugarcoating this. The online trolling had them in a chokehold, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't steer clear of any of it. Rinse and repeat over and over. They fell for the exact same catfishing traps, believing every single time that a new, beautiful online handle was a genuine love interest. They confided completely in anonymous internet actors they barely knew, doing wild, degrading things on video, only to have those files leaked to the public in a never-ending cycle that spun on for years of their adult life. The popular saying goes, fool me once, shame on you, fool me 69 times over, and you just could do away with the lube for the next time you feel like, screwing me in the arse.
Taking the cake was that one time when someone leaked a collection of audio files and text messages meant to be private conversations, capturing Chris Chan casually admitting to a multi-month pattern of severe, non-consensual, incestuous activities against their own elderly, dementia-ridden mother. Gross. Chris, you know I hardly ever hit you up, bro, but I feel this needs some explaining. Keep faith and distance yourself from the drama and chaos going on today. Know that remaining bad vibrations of the world are being sorted and weeded out today. A detail that fell into the wrongest of...
Who the hell is bro feeling like? Flipping Gandalf?
I just want to know if it's true. I will trust you with this simple answer then. I ask you both to please not screen cap and share. Yes. This is my final test for you both. Please prove me right.
They later go on to deny this ever happening, but the terrible burden of being the internet's most documented person made it so that even text records of Chris's support and advocacy for incest were floating in the public space for all to see. To make of it what you will of what actually transpired between Chris and their mom, the leak triggered immediate, widespread national panic, causing local law enforcement to descend on a motel where Chris Chan was hiding out and was duly arrested live on camera. The latest with them after all of this, including undergoing extensive psychological evaluations for almost 2 years at a secure correctional facility, is a growing belief in them being God.
I bless you, Jack, in your judo journey. And other details and so on. And there you go, first time online, speaking on tongues, because I have literally connected with the Akashic records and everything. And I'll tell you, I've really meditated and I found myself, because I know I am. I am.
The case and story of Brandon Scott Hole is one that is cold and disturbing, involving federal law and ending in national tragedy. From a very early age, Brandon showed signs of a deeply troubled individual. He had OCD and lacked control over his anger outbursts to the point of beating up his own mother as a child. In his early teen years, he was officially diagnosed with autism, explaining his isolation and social incompatibility, where he couldn't be trusted even to finish school without an incident. Over the years, he spoke more and more to his mom about ending his own life, much like his dad too had done when Brandon was younger. He developed an unhealthy interest in mass shootings and found his way onto forums having some very concerning ideologies. An avid enjoyer of MLP, Friendship is Magic, and a Brony themselves, Brandon, however, indulged in these less savoury aspects of the fandom. Brandon had several interventions with the police, and at one point even had FBI involvement, due to concerns of his mother about his mental state, especially when guns came into the picture. It should be noted that authorities at this juncture are well aware of Brandon, his mental struggles, his access to firearms, his peculiarities, and his growing interest in neo-Nazi content. On April 15, 2021, a 19-year-old Brandon carried out a devastating attack ending the lives of 8 innocent people before taking his own life. The surviving family members of the victims, along with the few survivors, went on to receive a massive show of support in their time of need and immense grief. The effectiveness of the red flag law was called into question, stirring debates about its usefulness, with its apparent lack of enforcement. This law puts in place protections whereby individuals deemed a danger to themselves or others are prevented from purchasing and owning guns. Yet Brandon, who exhibited on numerous occasions that he fit the description all too perfectly and was a prime target for the provision, still managed to purchase guns. And this was after having his previous gun confiscated, showing that same recurring awareness of Brandon's unstable mental state. From investigations following the tragedy, it was then revealed to the public, who were in desperate need of some answers, that Brandon was deeply embedded in the alt-brony internet subculture. The faction of the fandom that aligns with the alt-right or highly edgy internet subcultures, known for contrasting sharply with the community's traditional love and tolerance image. Also, that less than an hour before his rampage, he published a haunting final post online, stating his life had no meaning without the character Applejack and hoping to be with her in the afterlife. The narrative typically in circulation regarding Brandon and his actions is that he did it for MLP, or worse still for Applejack, which seems debatable considering his mental struggles and poor emotional regulation existed from as early as his toddler years. The show, if anything in its purest form, would have been a sought-out comfort and solace for a deeply perturbed mind. Due to the extremely disturbing nature of the third Iceberg tier, we'll be skipping over it for the final verdict. Comparing those entries in this format could come across as insensitive to the real victims connected to the cases discussed there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't pull a Watch Mojo and rank the top 5 war crimes committed in the Middle East, so be on your way.
They make bad look so good. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down the top 10 sexy female movie.
This leaves the score tied with both sides finishing on 3 points apiece.
So, the answer to which of the 2 infamous fandoms, My Little Pony or Sonic, is the most disturbed remains unanswered.
Oh, brother, this guy's
What do you guys think?
What I want from you right now, dearest viewer, is to answer my question. This I know you can answer with full grace. What value did watching this entire video all the way through add to your life? Besides making you depressed, of course.
For example, nothing.
Knock knock. Anyone there? I was wondering if I could maybe get back to working at Villainy TV.